Okay. Should hopefully be up and running. I can see myself. I can see, there it is. Okay. Well, might as well get started. So I've got my Trello board up. We'll start adding some items to it. This is our first to-do that we have here, so I'll move that to in progress. In general, yeah, I like to set up a to-do, an in progress, a done, and an icebox. There's technologies I don't usually have because it's not always strictly necessary. In fact, I'd say like I just typically don't use it, but just as an example, you know, you can see what we'll be using. Hi, Bing. Okay, so first we'll start by adding a couple of cards. First thing, kind of want to design app function or app. That's a good way. Yeah, I just say like app function, how it's supposed to work. I come in here, add description. How is the app supposed to work? I'll just save that. Then I'll do like a back end card and a front end. We'll start looking at the back end. I like to do a checklist. Back end items. So first item that we'll need to set up our models for the database. Then we'll have to start setting up controllers. Then routes. Then any middleware, which I have some idea of how I want the app to run, so we'll definitely have some middleware that we'll need to make. And authentication, because we will need some form of authentication. So that's our back end. Our front end will need we'll need blog writer. Then we'll need sign in, or well, we'll need a blog viewer. We'll call it a blog reader. We'll need a sign in, and you know, as far as overarching ideas, I think that's all we really need. Maybe we can add in some comments. So let's start on this design app function. So we can come in here, we can write comments, and we could say initially we want, you know, be able to write a blog post. Be able to read a blog post. Be able to comment on posts. And in general, I don't usually use comments like this, but as far as having one place to write everything down, this is a pretty alright way to do it, especially if I'm the only person using the board. Otherwise, I'd use comments more for, like, you know, contributing to the discussion of what this is supposed to be, how it's supposed to work. And then you know, let's take a look at a user. Any user would be able to sign in, and if they wanted to create a blog, they'd have the option to create a blog, which in the scheme of my app, I think we'd want it to be hosted on a subdomain when we finally actually deploy it, and we can work out how that works after the rest of the application is working. So I just do hosted on subdomain. And then we'd, possibly want the ability to share. Okay. So that's a good set of features that we can think of right now. So we'll keep that in progress for now. And let's see, I'm gonna move this. I don't need this in my lap. So let's see, where's my VS Code window? Let's go ahead and get started on that's the wrong one. There we go. Let's get started on getting things set up. So I'm going to open my terminal. I'm going to see npm, or well, we want get first. So get init. Then we can start adding things to get ignore. Then we want npm init. And just spam through that. Then npm install express mongoose bcrypt.js. I think that's all we'd really need. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that we'll need to begin with. And of course, I'll move my setup app card over. So we're working on that right now. So now that that's done, we'll go ahead and create our server.js. Should be. I grabbed the wrong one. You go back. Okay, so first thing we want is const express equals require express, then const app equals express, then app.listen. I need a port. I am thinking of things after I need them. npm i.env. Alright. Cool. So then require .env .config port equals process.env port. That might be wrong. I can't remember off the top of my head. Thanks, Steven. Otherwise, we want port 8080. Now let's do 3000. 3001. That will be a little more obvious later on. App.listen port console.log hello. App running on port not run, start. We come back in here. Start. Nodemon.js. I should have Nodemon installed, I hope. Perfect. So now I'll just go ahead and split terminals, and we want to run npx create react app client. Oh, this is fun. Yes, I hoped. Okay, so that should now be up and running. So now what we'll do, I actually probably should have done this while we were waiting. We want a routes folder. And in that we want a index.js. Then we'll want another folder for our models. We'll do models index.js. Then we want a controllers index.js. Okay. Good. Then app dots. And now my brain stops working for a second because I can't remember how to do static files. Static. We want client. Actually, no, we don't want to. Yeah, we don't really want that. What we want instead is app.get slash. Then we want to serve up require. Oh no. We want brain. Rec res. Res dot. Hello. Res. Res dot send. Path. Acquire path. This dot send path dot join. Dir name. Client slash build slash next.html. I think. We'll discover later if that's going to break or not. For now, we can come into client. Open integrated terminal. So we want to do npm run build just for testing purposes. Up here, I'll send this to 3001. I'm missing something. Oh, I need file system. Const fs equals require fs fs dot read file sync. Guess I could just look at it instead of guessing. Why did you open up? Okay, whatever. It's send file, you numpty. I don't need this. Okay, it says React app. I guess it no longer does what it did before. Anyways, we'll just do npm start on that one. Don't need that. Okay, so we do have our React app. The build doesn't seem to want to load, but that's fine because that's not crucial right now. So now we can start looking at building out our back end. So the first thing that I want to do is start working on our models. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, convert to card, and then I can come in here and I can start making a checklist of models that I need. So first model that we'll need is a user. The next model that we'll need is a blog post. And that's probably actually it. I don't think we'll need anything more than that because everything that we put in the blog post comments, the title, everything of that can just go in one single model. So what we'll do is we'll come into our models file. We'll create a new file, call it user.js, and we want const mongoose equals require mongoose. And we also need a, we'll do that in a second. So const user equals new mongoose.schema. So user's going to have a username, which is a string, and we'll put that in here. Type string required true. And unique true. Then a user will have a password. Do the type string required true. It does not need to be unique. Then email type string, and I think there might even be some mongoose validation for emails, if I remember correctly. Mongoose.schema types.email. Maybe not. We'll just do string required true and unique true. And finally, blog posts type. I've got this on a thing. Can't remember what it's called. And this is, that should be an array. And more than that, it should actually be an array of objects whose, no, I'm doing things in the wrong place. That's the array. Mongoose ID ref is pointing at posts, I think is what we'll call it. Well, we'll call it post. Then user dot methods. Authenticate. I'm just going to copy this from what I know actually works. So I'm going to open this another code window so I can actually just copy and paste it over. Chapter master. Model user. Probably would have worked the way that I was doing it, if I remember correctly. But this I know works. I'm going to need bcrypt though. Const bcrypt equals require bcrypt.js. Then that's true. I do want to call this user schema. Then const user equals mongoose.model user. I don't know why I stopped thinking for a second. That's what I want. Then module.exports equals. Do I need to export anything else from here? No, we'll just do user. Okay, so we have our generate hash that's going to hash the password. Then validate password is going to take that. Validate password reset token. I actually don't need that. Am I missing anything else? I feel like I'm missing something else. Nope. It's all good. Then so now we'll come up here, we'll check off our user. We'll add in another model. I'll actually add a quick item up here. We also need to do the db config. So now that that's there, we'll come back down here, hit plus sign, and we'll do a post.js. And I'm just going to copy this over because it's faster. So const post schema equals new mongoose.schema. So have a title, which is a type string required true. Then we'll have the body, which is type string required true. Max length. I don't think we really need to put a max length on it. Thinking about it, you kind of don't want to run out of room on a blog post. Then we'll do date, which is going to be type date. Well, I guess it wants mongoose.schema types.date. Default that to date.now. Then we'll have a comments, spell it right, comments, which is going to be an array of, and I'm actually going to create a new comments schema, so const equals new mongoose dot schema. Boop. So comment will have a body is type string required true. Max length, we'll say 250. Then it will have a user, which is going to be type object ID. Ref is going to be to the user object that we created over here. Yep. And we're going to have a date. Just might as well just copy pasty. Okay, so now comments is going to be an array of comment schema. Then we'll do const comment equals banana. No. Mongoose dot model. Why am I saying comment? Brain's not working. Post equals post schema, then module dot exports equals post. I don't think we'll need to export the comment. Yeah, we should be fine. Okay, so now in here, boom. Go back and look at the way that I have it in mind because that's easier than odd. Did I not write mine the way that I normally? I didn't. I just straight up didn't use things the way that I did before. Huh. Interesting. Regardless. Isn't there? Yeah. Oh. Mongoose. Perfect. I'll just put that in there. MongoDB URI. So now I'm going to have to start. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Robo3T. Localhost connect. I honestly do not remember my credentials. Edit. It's awkward. I cannot remember it. Maybe I just don't have any credentials on it. .env. Make sure that that gets into our get ignore. I'm just realizing now I probably should have committed a minute ago because That was before I created all my Mongo db underscore URI equals $27,017, I think, if I can remember. Yeah, 27,017. Let's go back to this one. Did I get... I don't think so. Cannot remember how to make a Mongo connection string because I'm a fool. I think it's just slash blog. Oh, it's not going to pull it in because it's not imported in the server. Dummy. Oh, good. I was afraid that would break it, actually, because I haven't finished building my models. Where is it? There it is. Module.exports. Wanting to write things in ES6 because it's so much better. User. Fire. / user. Oh. Thought I hit end. Must have hit the right arrow instead. So post is also going to be fire. Oh, my cat is at my window scratching at it. That's going to be really obnoxious, so I'm going to take a quick break while I let her in, so I'll be right back. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, so did that. Then I think that's all of that done. We'll go back to server, make sure. I'll actually call that DB. Connected to MongoDB. So that should mean if I come back in here and refresh my thing, yeah, I got a blog, collections. I have a users collection. Did I not create a post? Am I missing something? Interesting. Thanks, Steven. Am I missing something? User equals longest model user schema. Post equals post schema. Odd. I'm just going to proceed onwards and quite possibly later on it will show up. Okay, so that's our models done. So now we'll go move models into our done box, look back at our back end. So now we're going to start working on controllers. So we'll go ahead and split that out. I keep forgetting that it's not right click. Convert that to a card. And checklist. Controller items. So first thing we need is user controller. I will need a post controller. And we might want a comments controller as well, just to keep our separation of concerns. And I guess we'll start with the user controller, so we'll again bring that out into its own card. So, checklist, user controller items. So the first thing, we need to create a user. Then we'll need to do authentication. Then password update. Yeah, that should be about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, I'm opening up things that I don't want to be opening up. Okay, controllers. So now I'll do a user.js in here. So then, first thing that we want to do is require from dot slash, or no, dot slash. Oh, that's so obnoxious. dot slash models slash index. The first thing that we'll want is the user. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and say module.exports, and this is just how I like to do it, is write all the controller in the exports. That's not necessarily the best way to do it. It's not the worst way either, but for me it makes sense because it just makes everything go into its own object. So maybe I don't want to call it create, maybe I want to call it register. And we'll do async rec res okay, so the first thing that we'll need is from the body, or from the request, we want the body. Then go ahead and say await user dot create body, and I'm actually going to throw this in a try catch block. Error. Might as well make that an error so we know. Then do res dot send, or res dot, yeah, send status 200. Status 500 res.json error. That's not the nicest way of handling errors, but it'll do for now. Then, actually, before I go any further, I'm going to commit app start models created started on user routes, or user controller rather, and there we go. Then we'll want a oh no, I did put it up there. I want a login, async body res then try catch error. So first thing that we'll do, const user equals await user dot find one, and we'll want to do a or so we want to find if their username is body dot username or email is body dot username. And you know what? I'm gonna call it body dot sign in name, because calling it username is just confusing. If we call it sign in name, then we know that it's the name that they're using to sign in, regardless of whether it's email or password. Then we say user dot. Oh, I actually forgot something. So we want to, while we're creating, we want to spread body. Then we want to say password. I'm just thinking security wise. I think we want to say const user equals await. We say user dot username equals body dot username user dot what's it? Email equals body dot email. Oh boy, cannot type today. Then user dot password equals body or user dot, what did we call it? Generate hash. Generate hash body dot password. Why am I looking in there? Yeah. Then we do a user dot save. This is also a thing that I don't like. Okay. Get rid of that. This is so frustrating. I keep forgetting how to do things. That's okay. I will persevere and just look at what I've done in the past, because what I've done in the past works. Models, user. Okay. Then if we look at the user controller, when I create the user, that's what I'm missing. I forgot that I could do that because it's been so long. So const user equals new user. I'll just pass in body. Then I'll say user.password equals hash. User.save should work at that point. Yep. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. So then we need so we'll actually need a bit of a helper function. I'm just going to write it down here for now, but in general you'd probably want to actually split this off into its own module. So do fdef Or no. Function visible user. I like to call it visible user because it's, you know, what you're going to see on the front end. As a constructor, so this dot username equals username, which I will pull in from here, and email. And that's really all that we want on the front end. No, we probably also want at least some of the posts. No, we don't want any of the posts on the front end. It'll just take up memory. This dot email equals email. Okay. Then we'll do a res.json new visible user. And we'll just pass in user.toObject. So that'll only pass through what we need and it won't accidentally grab anything. Not that it usually does, but it's always better safe than sorry. Okay, so there's that. So we can create users, we can sign in. I think that's all we really need. So we got create, we got authenticate. We'll leave password update undone for now because we don't really need to update it right away, but thinking down the line, I'm just going to take a sippy sip of water. Okay, so now user routes finished. Then we don't really need to do testing. I'm fairly confident that it'll work. If it doesn't, then we can fix it later. That's my general process when it comes to this. So now we'll come to the controllers. They'll say module.exports equals an object. User controller equals require /user. Okay, now we'll get started on our post controller. So once again, we're going to have to const equals require /models, and we want post out of there. Module.exports. So this is where things become a little more involved. So first we have a create post. And you know what? Since I'm going to be doing this quite a bit, I'm going to create a snippet. I'll just call it blog snippets. Actually, no, we'll call it Express snippets because it's something that I'm going to use more in Express. I'll just call it Express. Why is it not working? Oh, duh. create it first. Express snippets. So this first one that we're going to do is controller handler. Scope is going to be JavaScript. Prefix is going to be handler. Should be short enough. Then we're going to want it to be body rec res, and in fact we're going to want this to be in an array to simulate rows. $0. That's where we want our thing to end up. Then that. And then I'll throw a comma on the end because it's not going to hurt anything. If I don't need it, I'll delete it. And that'll save us some time. That's odd. Two spaces. Okay, that's fine. So then we want to do for one, we'll want to take out the body. I mean, really, this is really short. And in fact, I should always include an async on this one. So I'll go back to my snippets. Async controller handler. Wait, I need to actually tell it that it's async. Would have been useless otherwise. Okay, so const blog, yeah, equals new. Oh no, wait. Post.create body. Then we'll do res dot send blog dot id. Throw everything in our try catch. Stop hitting buttons you don't want to hit. JSON. Error. Okay, then we do Brain stopped working for a second again. Create. Update. Async handler. And you know what? I should also throw in and try catch, because I'm always going to have try. Catch. Error. Stop forgetting commas. Console.error. Error. Res.status 500.json error. Close up that bad boy. It's really only for the async handler. I could actually throw it on the other one and it'd be fine, but try catch. Actually, no. Guarantee this will actually be handled faster. Async handler. Bloop. There we go. So now I do try const. Params ID const post, and just for consistency's sake I'm going to rename this to post equals post dot find by ID and update. Body ID body new true. I actually don't think I even need the new true. I'm not sending it back. I'm just going to give it the ID again. Yeah, res.send post.id. Wrong one. And that should be awaited. Then suppose I should throw a get in there somewhere, so get async handler. That just looks like async handler. I didn't even think about that. And it's going to be const post equals await post dot. Whoa. Post dot find by ID. ID. Res.json. Post dot to object. I don't think you technically need to do that. I think it does it automatically, but I'm doing it just in case because I can't remember. And we want params ID. And And then finally we want delete. And const for now. Post dot find by ID and delete. ID. Params. ID. Rec dot send. Why am I saying rec? It's res. Res. Status. I can't remember what status is for deleted. Status codes. It is okay, created, accepted. I guess there's not one for deleted. Well then, just send 200. Say, I did the thing. Well, that's extremely obnoxious. I'm going to have to fix that now. Boop. Okay, so there's our post controller. Go ahead and commit it. I'm actually going to add it to the controller's index real quick. Post controller equals require dot slash post. Yep. And, you know, this is part of what my brain does. It just sort of stops remembering to do certain things. That's okay. You don't always need to do things. Okay, so now let's go on to routes. So first thing is we want to do route for user. So then let's see, const router equals require express dot router then router dot route so first one is going to be our get all route. So I'll do a dot get, which is going to do user controller dot we don't need that. We do need a post route though. Give me just one. Okay. Controller dot. And you know what? I'm actually going to change this. I'll just delete that line. So I'll do router dot post because they're both going to be post routes. This one's going to post to register. I want user controller dot register. Register. And module dot exports equals router. Then I'm just going to pop this down, log in, log in. Yeah. And we'll come back up here and we'll actually snag exactly this line because why not? I'll do router.use slash users. So now everything on users is going to use require dot slash user. Okay, and now we're finally at the point where if we were to create a user, which I will fire up Postman, and you won't be able to see it because my stream setup is limited at best. But I'll go ahead and do a quick Postman to localhost 3001/users/register, and body wants, and in fact what I'll do is I'll even come into the user controller and do CLG. That's in the wrong place. Oh, and this needs to be awaited. User dot username actually I'm going to change this. We'll say let, that way we can come down here and say let, or not let, user equals, oh wait, user.save, so that'll get the new one back. So console log username. That way, when I actually do this, you'll be able to see it. Raw text, we actually want JSON. Object username is going to be test. Email is going to be bear@bearmail.com. Password is going to be password. Very creative, and we can, you know, add password validation and whatnot later on, but for now I should, if I change this to a post route, cannot post /users/register. I am an idiot. So now we have to go back here and say app.use. I can't even see chat. People are probably screaming at me. Nope, nobody's screaming at me. So app.use slash API required. Did I export it from index? routes. What did I do? Oh, can I not do that? Pretty sure you can do that in ES6, but you know, whatever. I'll fix it. Oh, no, I'm saying this is part of why I don't like working without TypeScript. Okay, so now if I go back into server, start. Nope, still broken. What's broken? Oh, I can't believe I did that. Okay, equals sign that should fix that. Then I'll do the same in post. Okay, S. Now what? Where? Time to look at my other app, see if I'm an idiot, which I probably am. Server. Do do do. Now I'm really confused. I'm not exporting it. Module.exports equals router. Not minus router. That's not how this works. There we go. Now if I post something, it breaks. NRE property password of undefined. Do I need... I think I need body parser. In fact, I know I need body parser. Which... I think is a... PMI... Body dash parser... One more time. Hey, got my test user. Perfect. If I go, I'm just going to go double check Robo3T. Yep, it's there. Password is hashed. Email is there. It's got no blog posts. Wonderful. Now, if I were to look at what I get when I sign in, I'll go to login. I change one of these to sign in name. I wrote or wrong. That is a pain because I can never remember quite how to write it. I'm pretty sure it's just an array. Yeah, it's an array. Then it's got two objects inside of it. So now, perfect. Okay, so we have a user. And actually thinking about it, we want an ID. This dot ID equals underscore ID. Okay. That way we can use the ID on the front end. We can store it in, in some state. Then, what do we need? Need to do, yes, router dot use / posts require dot slash. Oh yeah, I haven't created the post routes. Dummy dumb. That's confusing, post routes. I could change it, but it's too late. Then I'm going to paste this again. Router dot. Okay, so we want router dot route / then the dot get route for it is going to use post controller dot get. The post route for it is going to do post controller dot create. Okay. And before that, we'll do router dot route /ID. Oh, we are actually missing something. This should be get all. Then, or better yet, router dot get page. And that'll just be something that will probably come in handy later if there's so many posts. Where was I? I was going back to the post controller. Music's a little too loud, but that just muted it. How am I supposed to turn it down if it's at 1% volume already? Okay. get page. I'll just do post find. And just to keep things logical and consistent. Okay, so we've got that. Posts. Okay, so then this one is get post controller dot get, then dot put is post controller dot update, then dot delete is post controller dot delete. And exports equals router slash post. I am just a little confused as to why post still hasn't shown up in my collections, but it'll happen when it happens. Okay. And take a little sippy sip while I think about what we need to do next. Oh, that's neat. Oh, it popped. There's a little bubble. It just went right around the top there. It was really cool. I guess the next step really is to commit. Finished routes. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much the back end in a nutshell. We can definitely get started on the front end now. And a lot of what I'll be doing now is probably going to be pretty confusing. Let's see. Wasn't there a way that I could open this in a new... I guess not. Anyways, what I like to do is open up my client in a new code window and, you know, keep track of which is which by the color, which is the Peacock plugin for VS Code. So, first things first, I'm going to bring in my templating CSS. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm just going to copy it. It's in here somewhere. Now this is a CSS library that I've been working on. Did it not work? May eventually one day release it to the public, but it basically just does stuff on its own. Magic stuff. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Okay, here's what I hate. I hate index CSS. It just causes a pain. App.css is fine, but everything in it's got to go. Index.js, I will get rid of the index.css because I do not need it. Oh, strict mode. That's new. I guess I'm on React 17. Okay. So we look at our app.js. We just kind of want to gut it, all of it. And replace it with import React dash router. No, it's not installed. Okay. npm I react dash router dash DOM. And this will probably be where you guys get confused if you haven't seen React Router DOM yet. But basically, it's how we make it a single page application. It intercepts, like if you click a link that would take you to a new page, it'll intercept that and say, no, I don't want to go to the new page. I just want to put it in the address bar and then just render the page myself. It's taking a minute. In the meantime, I will start setting up folders. So here's my components folder. And I want layout.jsx. Oh, stupid. I will just rename that to layout, and then do layout.jsx. Then back in here, we'll do just a fragment for now, which we'll fill in later. Actually, no, we want the... Yeah, okay. Immer, fdef, or no, export, fdef, layout, won't need any props. Div, I'll just say h1 awesome blog. Okay, that will appear on every page. I'll do layout. Yeah, no, what we also need to do is we do need props. Children. Okay, layout. Then React Router DOM exists now. So I'm going to start taking things out of it. So React Router DOM has the browser router, which is the top level component that's supposed to handle everything. We'll import that as router. Then we want a switch, and we want a route. So router, anything that you want to appear as the single page app has to go in the router, which actually, yeah, thinking about it, I think it has to go router. Then anything that you want to be handled correctly, and we'll go over this in class, needs to be inside of a switch. Then we want a route. We'll pass it the prop of path, which is going to be equal to just slash component, which is going to be something eventually. We'll actually create it real quick. New file slash home slash home.jsx immer export fdef home. Won't need any props. We'll just return a div with an h2 that says this is the home page. And we'll do a p tag that's just full of lore. So then this is going to take in the home tag, auto import as a go, and if we come here, things look bad because they are broken. Module not found, can't resolve. That's a new one that I've not seen before. I can't really tell what's going on because I'm looking in the... Oh, I just realized you guys probably can't even see what I've been typing. Yep. I have fixed that. Where is... There you are. I'm a professional. I know how to do this. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Recap, because you couldn't see. We have our app.js. We have this router, which encapsulates the entire application. It's how we handle our navigation. We have our switch, which does some magic stuff to make sure things go to the right place. And we have a route, which is pointing to home. And we have a website that doesn't work because I don't know. So I'm just going to jump back into this one and close that. And just npm start here. I'll open probably another window. Ah, there it goes. I'll go ahead and hit up program view and you guys can take a look. So we have our page. There's not a lot going on. So we have our home view. next thing that we'll need to start doing is we'll need to create a sign-in page, which will be very easy. So first thing I'm going to do is come into components and do sign in slash sign in dot JSX. Okay, MERN export FDEF. So here's the sign-in component. I don't think we'll need any props. Then we'll do return. Div. I'm going to do some inline styles because I'm too lazy to break it out. Display. Grid. Then another div. Style equals. How does it go in grid? Grid center. I cannot remember what it is. CSS grid align center. The funny thing is like it's like the easiest way to do it, and I can't remember how to do it. Oh boy. Tell you what, I know where I can go to find it. It didn't change? Okay, we're back. Thanks for keeping me on my toes, Clarissa. Grid is this amazing thing that I can never remember how to use. Okay, there we go. Background color, we will say it is hashtag DC. Then we'll have an H2 that says sign in. And then something we'll actually need is route exact. We'll do a new route exact path equals slash sign in component equals sign in. Okay, so now if I come into the app and I go / sign in, we have our sign in. It is a little underwhelming. So we want this to be height 100%, and honestly that's probably all we need for now. Oh, and of course it's not going to work because that's not how CSS does things. Then we'll say, I don't want to delete it, we'll say height 800. Not great for mobile responsiveness, but it'll do for now. The other option we could do is actually position fixed top 0, left 0, bottom 0, right 0. Why did that not update? Well, that'll have to do for now. Okay, so we got sign in showing up. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to break this out into a reusable component called modal, modal.jsx, and immer export fdef modal props return how do I want to do this? Basically this, yeah. That's not modal. Boop. Props.children. Wonderful. Then in here, we'll just wrap this in a modal. H2 sign in I know why it's not updating. It's because the background isn't set to anything. So now in modal, we'll come in here and we'll do one of my favorites, background color, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Sorry, no, 5, 0. So that'll dim everything by 50%-ish. And then on this, I guess we can add in a bit of styling. Want some padding to be about 10 pixels. Perfect. Then we need to do. This is something completely and totally brand new, and it's called hooks, and we'll get into it. For now, just know that it's sort of the way of managing what data exists. So this first hook is called use state, which is basically just, using state. So I want the username state, and I want set username. It's just going to be an empty string for now. Then what we'll do is we'll give an input, type text. Don't need a name. We don't need an ID. What we do need is a value, which is going to be username. We're also going to do an onChange event. So onChange, we want to take that in. We want to set username to the event.target.value. That way the state will update. It will take in the values that we're inputting and save it for later. We don't technically need to have the value here, but I like to put it here because it honestly just makes sense for later. Then we'll do the same thing for a password. Once again, I'll initialize that with an empty string. Password. Set password. And the one thing that will change is that this will be a password field. Let that update. Use state is not defined because we need to pull it in from React. Use state. Great, it's autofilling my other username and password. That's fine. Okay. Can't quite sign in yet because we need to do something in our package.json. Need to do a proxy. Is that not at the right level? Host 3001, and basically all that's going to do is say, hey, this development server is going to be taking in requests and passing them on to our backend server. It wouldn't work without it because we'd be making requests to the development server instead of the backend server. And no reason to type up there. It's not hooked up yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another folder in here. I'm going to call it the utils folder. And I'm going to make a new file called api.js. What this will do is it'll be our in-between between the front end and the back end. Basically, we'll just define a bunch of functions in it and use them later. So, first thing that we need to do is npm install Axios. Axios is your best friend. It certainly is mine. Okay, let's now do export default API. Then we'll do const API equals. First one that we'll need is a sign in. I'll do arrow function takes in username. I'll take in a sign in object. I'll do Axios dot post. And this will go to /users/login. I'm gonna change that so it's all using the same language real quick. So otherwise it's just gonna bother me. Sign in. Okay, that'll be renamed on the back end. This can go to sign in. Oh, that's what I called it. Yeah. Okay, so sign in will go there. Register. Take in a register object. Axios dot post. I actually need to send the sign in object. I'll go to /users /register. I'll pass in the register object. Okay, so that should be that. I'm just thinking now, if we go into sign in, we should rename this to sign in name, just like how we have it on the back end. And might as well rename this to set sign in name. Shut up, Google password. I don't need you to save that. Okay, so this should now technically work. I will need a button. Sign in. On click, we want to sign in. This is the name of the function that we'll give it. I'll do fdef sign in. Take in no arguments, but we will make it an async function. And we won't have a place to store our user, but what I'll do is I'll just store the user in local storage, which is a terrible idea. Don't ever do that. But for now, I think it makes sense. So const sign in equals async. First thing is const data equals API dot. It would help if I actually imported it. API dot sign in. And we'll actually want to await that. API sign in. We want to give it the password, and we want to give it the sign-in name. Then what we'll do is we'll do local storage dot set item user data. So now if I were to sign in, so my util, oh yeah, my utils is outside of my source directory. That's a big no-no. Move that back in there. What do you mean Axios is not defined? You mean I didn't bring it in because I'm a pleb? What am I doing? Import Axios from Axios. Dummy. Okay, so now if I send test with the password of password to the backend, I can click sign in, and nothing will happen because I haven't changed where I'm supposed to be going after that. But if I look at my application, and I'm going to dock this back to the window so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to change focus if it'll let me. There we go. Change focus. So he signed in. If we look at application, local storage, no, we did not get anything. Did we see anything on the back end? Do not see anything on the back end. So now we're going to have to do some debugging. I feel like it might actually be. Oh, you know what? No, it's the proxy's not working. So I will have to fix that real quick, which should be easy enough. If I can find it. JSON, make this bigger. Oh, I need, there's something that I need that proxies it for me, I think. Unless it doesn't, and I'm an idiot. That's the back end. Front end, I look at package.json proxy. it's right below script. Not that the order should matter, but do. I'm just going to do things the easy way. For now, I'm just going to send these to localhost. And when it comes to deploying later, we can fix it then. Okay, now I'm going to try and sign in. Okay, so we got something. Cores errors. Yay. Let's see. Express allow cores. Yeah. npm I cores. You guys can't see what I'm doing because it's on the back end. Just hide that real quick. Okay, so then class cores equals require cores app.use cores. Oh, look at all these semicolons that I forgot to put in. Okay. That should fix it. Hopefully. Sweet. If I open up studio mode, go back to program view, hit F12. Now you can see we have our user. We can see the username is test, ID is that, email is that. That's great. So now I can do a bit more. If we go back to the front end. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Okay, back on the front end. So if we go back to sign in, what we can now do is we'll import from React Router DOM. We want redirect. So what this will do is it's a component that will redirect for us. We'll do return redirect. I will actually want another bit of state. Redirect, set redirect. Let me say if there is a redirect, then we want to return redirect. 2 equals redirect. Where are you going, cat? Closing. So now if I sign in, it should then break. Oh, yeah. Test. Password. Sign in. It didn't redirect. Oh, because I didn't tell it to. Set redirect to just slash. Okay. And I didn't even flip the screen. So now if I sign in, I get redirected. Google yells at me to change my password because password is an insecure password. And that's signing in done. Now, we're going to do something very similar for actually, I'm going to finish up some tidying up to do. Label. I won't tell it what for. I'll just say user. Username makes sense. I'll just say username or email. Then break, because I'm too lazy to write CSS to do that for me. You want out, cat? Give me a second. That's not a good thing to do. Don't just delete lines of code willy-nilly. Always a solid bit of advice. Oh, good grief, everything broke. Lavel is not the same as label. It's getting late. Password. BR. And if we go back to the sign-in page. Oh, yeah. Redirect replaces sign in. Perfectly ugly. Awesome. So now I'm going to copy quite literally the entire thing, and I'm going to rename this folder to user. That way we know it's stuff that's related to the user. I can come back in here, save that, and we'll add in the register component, which is basically the same thing, but we say register instead of username or email. We do username and email. So then we'll need another bit of state called email, set email, use state that. it's so much shorter than the rest because email is not a long word. Then this should be email, set email, then Actually, one thing that I can do and will do, because having enter be the thing that sends it in, sign in, that'll take in an event, and the event dot prevent default. Okay, and then this will set redirect to sign in. I'm going to rename sign in name to username because that's what it is now. And finally include the email. Then I guess we can get rid of hit because I don't need that. I also don't need to console log data. I don't even need data in this one. Rename this to register. Okay. My music stopped playing. That's not fun. I feel like I need to do something ever so slightly. Yep, I do. Good job, brain. So now, register. I'm going to go delete my test user because there's not really a reason to keep it. But now, if I go to app.js and I go to create a route, exact path equals / register, not French, component equals, I guess we also need to rename this, register. I hate it when it does this. So we do import dot / components / user / register. Okay, then go ahead and switch over. Data is not defined. Oh, of course it's not, because we don't use it in register. We don't need to set local storage to anything. Okay, so now if I change this to register, and Google's got things all confused. So username is test, email is bear@bearmail.com, password is password. You can go ahead and click sign in. We get redirected. I say okay to your stupid password warning. Like, I know it's a terrible password. And if we sign in, we get redirected to home. Awesome. So, the last thing that I want to do is I want to just get the blogs posting and returning. So I'm going to switch back to this. I'm going to close that. And close the rest of this as well because I don't need it. I don't need that. I will need API though, so we'll leave that there. Components. So now we're going to add blog dot or blog slash blog reader dot JSX Emmer export fdef, and this will be the blog reader. Hey, what are you doing? Okay, so blog reader. Probably don't need any props on it, I don't think. No, we can actually do... no, that's not gonna... That's just going to be a bit complex to try and figure out how to do that, so I'll just not return. So first thing that we're going to want is a div. Then the easy thing to do for the reader would be to do a pre. That way any formatting that we do in the editor will just come through and show up on the page. So we'll need a bit of state. I'll do const or uState blog set blog. It's initially nothing, so what we'll do is we'll wait to render this by saying blog and what, cat? Want to go out? I don't know why you would. There's nothing out there for you unless you're hungry. W. Then, because I want an H2 that takes in the blog.title. If I'm remembering correctly from the model, I'm going to go look at the model so I'm not just guessing. Oh, I didn't even give it a title. Okay, I'm going to give it a title. Title. Oh, no, I did. I'm looking at the comment schema because I'm an idiot. Okay. So yeah, there's a title, body, and a date. So blog.title. Then I'm going to do a bit of formatting. I'm going to use date functions for it because Moment.js is massive and really not that great. And also legacy at this point. So now I'm going to say span. It's going to be format. It's not going to recognize that I installed it. And this is going to get mad that there's no use state. Use state. So from date FNS, I would like to import format. So format, we're going to take in new date blog dot date, and I'm going to say month. That would help if I would wrap that in a string. Lowercase day, lowercase year. So that'll be month, day, year. We'll separate that with a comma. Then here we'll do blog.body. And in the afterwards, we'll do a div. And we'll do a just do a bit of pseudocode and say comments go here. Okay, so now we have a blog reader. That's great. It should work. We'll just need to do some API stuff. So load get blog, we'll call it ID. And we'll do this to an axios.get. This will go to, and I would normally pull sign in and register into a separate util. I'd call it like user utils or user something user API or something like that. So this will get slash posts. Did I call it slash posts? Should look. Yeah, slash posts slash plus ID. So now we'll not be able to test this until afterwards, but that's okay. So this is going to go to a route exact path equals, and this will be very similar to how Express does it. Slash post slash ID slash colon ID, I should say. Component equals what? Blog reader. Then yep. Okay, so we got our blog reader. It should work after we create our so now there's another hook called use effect, and basically what this will do is it'll run a function right when the component mounts for the first time. We'll get into the specifics about that in class. Because it's really handy, we'll say. Okay, so we can't use async await in it, so I'm going to split this out into its own into its own function. This is async. I just realized, did I? Okay, I did. Oh, but you know what I'm missing? This is missing prevent default. Also, I stopped committing a while ago. I should probably do a commit. Sign in and register pages. Commit anyways. Okay. So get blog. this will be const data equals await API dot get blog, and there's also some custom hooks. So const equals use route match. Not finding it. Import React router DOM. Use route match. Let's find params. And from params we can get ID. Get blog ID. Go look at API, make sure that that's correct. Yep. Then we will set blog to data. And trust that it works for now until we get our writer. I spelled route wrong. Cool. So now if we go to here and do another new file, we'll call it blog writer.jsx. Import React. Blog writer. So then we'll have a return do a div, and inside that div we'll have an input. And we'll do the same sort of thing that we were doing before. We'll do use state. This will be for the title. Set title, string. Then we'll do a value equals title, if I can spell right, on change equals set title to e.target.value. Okay. So now, just as a proof of concept, we'll go ahead and go to here. This will be virtually identical, but instead of blog reader, it's blog writer, and instead of /id, it's /create. So now, it happened again. Blog writer, use state is undefined. Use state. Need some water. Wonderful. Now, we'll go ahead and switch over. We'll go to slash posts slash. Is that what I called it? That's not what I called it. It is what I called it. Slash create. We have that, but it's not missing something? Did I spell create wrong? Oh, no. I've got things in the wrong order. There we go. Okay. So now, here's another thing that you can do with use effect, just to illustrate the point. I will console log title and tell it to do that whenever title changes. Which of course you didn't see me write because I was focused on the wrong thing. Get back over there. Here's the code. Use effect, console log title, every time title changes. Now let's go back. So now, awesome title. So you can actually see every stage of what title is while you're typing it, because it'll console log every time you write. So you don't actually need that. That was just something to illustrate what React is sort of doing behind the scenes. So then also I've also just sort of completely abandoned Trello. This is in progress. And this is just what my mind actually does all the time. You know, I'll make sure that I write everything down that I need in case I forget, but I don't constantly reference it. So we have sign in on the front end. We have the blog reader done. We're working on the blog writer. And we'll just do a text area. I should switch back over so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I have text area, that's all fine. And const. I don't know why I keep trying to type it from scratch. I've had this snippet forever, so I don't know why it's not stuck in my brain. So const body, set body. Once again, it's an empty string. I'm just going to copy these. Change this from title to body. Change this from set title to set body. Okay. Let that refresh. That looks terrible. Oh, BR. What do you mean no suggestions? BR. Okay, so now we officially have a way of writing our blog. We just need to send it to the back end. So once again, we'll go visit API and create blog. We'll take in a blog, which will go to axios.post/posts. And of course, I will need to put this in front of both of those before either of them will work, because for some reason the proxy isn't working. That is whatevs. I'm missing an arrow. And we're going to send back the blog. Okay, then blog. I just realized something that is missing on the back end, but we'll fix it in a little bit. So can't save blog. Brain's not working again. Async. Async. Await. No, we actually want data. Const data equals await API dot create blog. Our blog is as follows. The first thing we want to do is we want to get the user ID from local storage. Oh, I just realized something else. Sign in is not going to work because this needs to be stringified. There we go. So now we want user, let user equals local storage dot get item user. Well, not all the way up there. Okay, and JSON.parse. Okay. So then we want the user ID to be well, and here's something that we can actually do. I'm going to change this to take in user ID. So it'll go to /post/ plus user ID. Then in here, we don't need to pass in the user ID there. We just go user.id. Did I not push comma? I might have not actually done it. Okay, then we say title and body. We don't need to pass in the date because Mongoose will automatically handle that for us. Is there anything on the back end that we actually need though? Nope, title, body, date. Comments are an array that we'll worry about later. So we send that back. Then, if we recall correctly, then when we go to the post controller real quick. Yeah, it's sending back the ID. So then what we'll do, if you remember from before, we'll go back up and do React router DOM. We want redirect. Then here we'll do another use state. Redirect, set redirect. Then down here we'll go redirect. Okay, and then we'll set redirect to /posts/ plus data. that should be all we need. We'll need a button. Save. Okay. So, we have an application that allows us lorem ipsum dolor sit amet blah blah blah. Now, if everything's working, then we'll get redirected to the actual post. Things are not working. I didn't create an on-click for the... Oh boy. This is a very important part that I just completely didn't do. And now we'll go ahead and click save. Okay, unexpected token. Oh, and what? Blog writer JSX 13. Okay, so let's go look at what's on line 13. It is the user. Something's wrong with the user. Look at application. User. Oh, it's because it's object right now. Doy. Okay, so we'll have to go to / sign in with test password. There we go. Now we have an actual user. We can go back to post create. I'll call it lorem ipsum dolor sit amet blah. And open the console, click save. Okay, 404 not found, localhost 3000 posts. Oh yeah, the change that I was talking about we needed to make. Let's go make it. So go back to here. So create has body in it, but it does not have params. If we're going to take an ID out of, then const user equals user dot. That's the wrong user. / models, which I don't know why I typed that in there because I wanted it here. User. Okay, so user dot find by ID. Await. Then we want to say user dot what is it called? Posts? Blog posts. So user dot blog posts dot push post dot ID. Then and save. We need to go to the post route, which is not. Okay, first off, that's wrong. Second off, we're going to move this up to this one. And it's a little bit of awkward overlap because, you know, we have ID, which normally would equal, um, like the post ID, but we're subbing it in for the user ID just for this particular route. That's a little confusing, but ultimately it'll work. So now if I come back here and try saving again, okay, we get redirected, but there's some error in I'm going to check on. Okay, yeah, we have a post. It's there. If I look at users, it has no blog posts, but that's entirely because I just forgot to put in user.save. User.save. Yes, there's actually a very important step that we need to take in the blog reader. So we have params.id, right? Should be there. Oh, but we're not. We're not calling it get blog. So now, as this page refreshes, we have the first version of our blog. So that's where I'm going to cut it for tonight. I have some more plans that I want to do with this. So next week I'll plan on doing another stream. I'll probably start it earlier. Just started so late because I was trying to get things set up. But what I'll do is I'll start working on a lot of the styles, and I'll start off by doing comments on blog posts first, and then I'll start doing a lot more in-depth work on making the app look good. But until then, that's really all that I have energy for tonight. I will save this, and I'll start going through and adding timestamps for different things. So if you wanted to come back and reference anything, there will be some timestamps for this lovely 3-hour stream, so you don't have to watch all 3 hours just to find what you were looking for. Anyways, thanks for coming, guys. Until next time.